You ever notice how every bad trade starts the same way? With good intentions. You tell yourself, this one will be perfect. You wait for the clean setup, the textbook confirmation, the flawless entry. You tweak your stop loss by 1 pip just to optimize it, then another. Then the price moves without you. You missed it again. And you sit there staring at the chart thinking, if I can't even get this right, maybe I'm not ready to trade. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You're not losing because you're sloppy. You're losing because you're obsessed with being perfect. The market doesn't reward perfection. It rewards adaptability. You don't need to be perfect to win. You need to be consistent enough to survive your imperfections. So let's pull this apart. Because once you understand how perfectionism is quietly destroying your trading, you'll stop trying to be flawless and start becoming dangerous. Every trader starts the same way. You build your rules, you test your system, you dream of that clean chart where everything aligns. Perfect entry, perfect exit, perfect profit. You imagine yourself executing like a machine. Zero hesitation, zero emotion. But here's what actually happens. You wait too long for confirmation and miss the move. You micromanage trades that were fine. You overanalyze setups until opportunity evaporates. You replay every missed candle in your head, torturing yourself with should have. Sound familiar? You're not lazy, you're not undisciplined. You're addicted to perfection and it's killing your progress. Welcome to Disciplined Trades. We don't sell dreams here. We dismantle illusions. Our mission is simple. Rewire your brain so it can actually survive this game. Because today we're going to expose the hidden cost of perfectionism and the 5 psychological shifts that separate perfection chasers from precision killers. By the end, you'll understand why good enough can outperform perfect, why the pros make peace with error, and why the need to control everything is really a fear of losing control. Stay until the end because the final shift, number 5, is the exact mindset hedge fund traders use to pull the trigger with confidence when everyone else is still waiting for confirmation. Question for you. What's your perfection habit? Overanalyzing? Over planning, over editing your charts? Drop it in the comments. You'll see you're not alone. Chapter 1, the illusion of control. There's a famous study from Harvard. They gave 2 groups of people a dice to roll for money. One group was told you can choose when to roll. The other group will roll for you. Both groups had the same odds. But the first group bet more because having control felt like having an edge. You do the same thing every day. You tweak your indicators, you adjust your entries by 1 tick, you change your stop loss to feel safer. None of that changes probability. It just feeds the illusion that you can control the uncontrollable. Every trader falls into this trap. You think the goal is to master the market, but the real game is mastering yourself. Because here's the truth no one tells you. You can do everything right and still lose. You can do everything wrong and still win. That's not unfair. That's statistics. Paul Tudor Jones once said the most important rule of trading is to play great defense. Translation, control your risk, not the outcome. You can't control what the market does. You can only control how you respond. When you let go of control, paradoxically, you gain it because you stop fighting reality. So next time you feel the urge to wait for the perfect setup, ask yourself, am I protecting my account or am I protecting my ego? That single question can save you years. Chapter 2, the paralysis trap. Look, perfectionism doesn't just make you cautious, it paralyzes you. Barry Schwartz, psychologist and author of The Paradox of Choice, proved it. When people are given too many options, decision-making collapses. The more variables you try to optimize, the less you act. That's you in front of your charts, zooming in, zooming out, drawing, erasing, waiting, doubting. You think you're being thorough, but really you're avoiding pain. Perfectionism is fear wearing a lab coat. You're scared of being wrong, so you disguise that fear as analysis. But trading doesn't reward the smartest analysis. It rewards decisive execution. Let me show you. In 1998, 2 Nobel Prize-winning economists ran long-term capital management. Their models were perfect. They accounted for everything except reality. When the Russian bond market collapsed, their algorithm didn't know what to do. They lost $4.6 billion. Meanwhile, George Soros made billions the same year, not because he had a better model, because he had flexibility. He said, I'm only rich because I admit my mistakes faster than others. Think about that. He wasn't chasing perfection. He was chasing adaptability. The market doesn't punish imperfection. It punishes hesitation. Every missed trade, almost every if only, those are taxes you pay to the god of hesitation. So here's your challenge. For 1 week, make decisions faster, not reckless faster. Trust your plan, not your comfort. Because in trading, speed of conviction beats depth of analysis. Chapter 3. The dopamine deception. Let's get scientific for a moment. MIT researchers found that dopamine, the brain chemical behind motivation and pleasure, spikes before a reward, not after. That means your brain is addicted to the anticipation of the perfect trade, not the trade itself. It's why you feel alive when you're planning, tweaking, optimizing, but empty when you actually execute. You've built an addiction to almost. Think about it. How many times have you spent hours marking charts, watching YouTube videos, backtesting endlessly, then hesitated when it was time to click buy or sell? That's dopamine withdrawal. The anticipation is gone. The reality is boring. Professional traders understand this. They rewire dopamine by shifting focus from potential to process. Every small execution becomes the reward. Every boring routine becomes the hit. You have to train your brain to crave follow through instead of perfection. Because the amateurs chase the high of anticipation, the pros chase the calm of execution. Your brain wants fireworks. Your account wants discipline. Guess which one you'll feed today? Chapter 4. The perfection failure loop. Here's the cycle nobody talks about. You set high expectations. You fail to meet them. You punish yourself. You tighten your standards. You fail again. Repeat. That's perfectionism's real cost. Not money, but momentum. You turn trading into a test you can't pass. And every loss feels like proof you're not good enough. Let me give you a story. There's a trader named Anna. She journals every trade, grades herself A to F. But here's her twist. She grades execution, not outcome. A perfect setup that loses money, A+. A random trade that wins F. That's how she broke the loop. Because when your definition of perfect is execution, not result, you win even when you lose. And here's the psychological magic. Self-compassion increases performance. Neuroscientist Kristen Neff discovered that athletes who forgive mistakes recover faster and perform better than those who self-criticize. Your brain literally needs permission to fail if you want it to improve. So the next time you feel like you messed up, stop saying I failed. Start saying I'm calibrating. Because that's what the best traders do. They don't perfect, they calibrate. Chapter 5. The precision mindset. Let me draw the line clearly. Perfection is impossible. Precision is mastery. Perfection says I can't act until everything aligns. Precision says I act when enough aligns. Perfection demands certainty. Precision demands clarity. And here's the secret. The pros aim for precision, not perfection, because markets move too fast for perfection to exist. I once asked a portfolio manager at $1 billion fund how often his trades went exactly as planned. He laughed. Maybe 5%. The rest controlled chaos. Then he said something I never forgot. I don't need perfect trades. I need repeatable edges. That's the mindset shift. You're not a surgeon. You're a probability manager. Every trade is just a bet with slightly positive odds. You execute, manage, adapt, that's it. Perfectionists think they can control outcomes. Precision traders control process. One works for Wall Street, the other writes angry Reddit posts. So here's the final shift. Stop trying to be perfect. Start trying to be precise. Every click, every plan, every journal entry, make it deliberate. But once it's done, it's done. You'll never eliminate uncertainty. You can only build systems that survive it. Precision accepts that the game is messy and plays it beautifully anyway. Climax. Let me slow this down. Perfectionism is the hidden addiction of traders. It disguises itself as discipline. It makes you feel smart, cautious, responsible, when in reality, it's fear dressed in logic. You say, I'm just waiting for confirmation. But you're waiting for certainty in a world where certainty doesn't exist. The market doesn't care how perfect your setup is. It rewards those who can execute while imperfect. Think about the first time you placed a trade. Your hands were shaking. You didn't know if you'd win or lose, but you did it anyway. That's the courage perfectionism kills. It whispers, not yet. Then weeks become months. And suddenly your trading career is just a collection of screenshots and what ifs. Perfection feels safe. But it's the most dangerous comfort zone in existence. Because behind every perfectionist trader is someone terrified of chaos when chaos is literally the market's native language. So here's the truth. You don't conquer the market by controlling it. You conquer it by staying calm inside its storms. And that calm comes not from being flawless, but from being fluid. Let go of the fantasy of perfect trades. Embrace the discipline of consistent ones. That's the real edge. That's the moment everything changes. Let's recap. You learned that control is an illusion. Perfection creates paralysis. Dopamine makes you addicted to almost. Punishing yourself keeps you stuck. And precision beats perfection every time. If you truly absorb this, you'll trade differently. You'll act faster, forgive sooner, adapt endlessly. You'll realize that success isn't about flawless entries, it's about surviving long enough for your edge to play out. So the next time you feel the urge to overthink, say this to yourself: done is better than perfect. Then click the button. Place the trade, follow the plan, review, learn, repeat. That's how mastery is built, not in one perfect moment, but in thousands of imperfect ones, executed with precision. If this hit home, hit like, subscribe for the next deep dive. We're breaking down the psychology of pulling the trigger, and drop your reflection below. What's one perfection habit you're going to kill this week? Because remember, every pro you admire started as an amateur who acted before they felt ready. The difference between them and everyone else, they started anyway. See you in the next one, where we trade not for perfection, but for freedom.